So VPN, or virtual private networking, is one of these very interesting things that have been around in the corporate world for a very long time, and are now also gaining popularity amongst consumers. I think the best way to introduce what a VPN does is by using an example. Let's say we've got a public network, that is, a network in which we do not necessarily trust everybody. So this could be a large corporate network, or it could be the internet. The internet is also a public network, only a very large one with billions of computers in it. So we have this public network, and we are in that public network. So your computer is somewhere in that public network, and my computer is somewhere in that public network. And we don't like that. We don't like that because we want to be able to transfer data between our computers securely. But this is a public network, so there can be all kinds of naughty people and hackers who try to listen in on our connection or steal data, modify it, etc. So we want to have a private network. That's the ultimate goal here. Now, the ultimate way of doing this would be to physically connect our computers to the same switch, or just connect them directly to each other and create our own physical private network. But that's not always possible. There can be all kinds of practical reasons. Maybe we're just too far apart to do that. If this public network happens to be the internet, then we could be on the other side of the globe, in which case we're not going to be able to do that. So you can't always just hook up computers to each other to create a private network. So then what are we going to do? Well, this is where a VPN can come in. What we can do is one of our computers can be the VPN server, and the other one can be the VPN client. And then we set up a secure encrypted connection between these two computers with an authentication system. And now we can transfer the data across this encrypted connection so nobody can listen in on it or modify the data. Now, what we've essentially done is we have formed a private network, a secure private network, but we haven't actually physically created a private network. We have created a virtual private network. So that's what a VPN is. A VPN is a private network that is created within or across an existing public network. So now let's take a look at some of the typical applications for a VPN. You know, how would you use it normally? So the classic application of a VPN is, let's say you have an office with lots of computers in it and lots of employees. But you would want these employees to be able to connect to the local network in the office when they're at home, so that they can use the printer in the office, or they can share files with computers in the office. So what you can do is you can allow these employees to connect to a VPN server in the office from their homes, right, over the internet. And then from the VPN server, this will allow them to access the local network of the office and use the office's printer and share files with the computers in the office, etc. In this case, the internet is the public network, and you have created a VPN across the internet. Another classic way of using a VPN is if you have two offices, you can have a VPN, well, technically it's not a VPN server, right, it's a server and a client, but you can have a computer on both sides that is responsible for dealing with the VPN. Then you can connect these two computers to each other through the internet, and that way you can join two different local networks as if they become one big local network that stretches out, again, across the internet. So those are the classic ways of using a VPN for businesses and, you know, companies. But now, VPNs are also very popular amongst consumers. So why is that? Well, that's because people have noticed the following. Let's go back to that example with the employee in his office. This employee, let's say he wants to connect to a website. Now, he can do that from his own house, the classic way. He can connect to the website, in which the website will see his IP address, the IP address of his house. But what he could also do is establish a connection to the VPN server in the office, and then from the office, using the office's local network, he can access the website. And the website will then see the IP address of the office, and will therefore think that he is located in his office. And this is very interesting because websites do all kinds of interesting stuff with IP addresses. They try to guess where you are, and so some websites block users from certain regions, or they track where you are for some other reason. So people started thinking about that, and they liked the idea of being able to pretend that you're somewhere else in the world. And so now there are companies, and these companies have basically set up VPN servers all around the world. And then if you pay these companies a certain amount of money per year or per month, or whatever, per 2 years, then you're allowed to connect to any one of these servers and pretend that you're from basically anywhere in the world, which can be very useful in some situations. Not only is it useful because of that reason, it's also useful because, let's say you have the NSA. Let's say you think the NSA is spying on you, right? They're trying to figure out which website you're connecting to. Well, now they can see that. If you have a normal internet connection, they could see which websites you connect to. They can't see what these websites are sending to you because that's encrypted, but they can see which servers you're connecting to. Well, if you have a VPN, then they can only see that you connect to the VPN server. They can't see which website you connect to from that server. And you might be thinking, well, they can start monitoring the VPN server then, right? Well, no, because that VPN server is serving more people than just you. It's serving possibly thousands of other users. So when the NSA starts monitoring a VPN server of one of these VPN companies, they just see lots of connections going out, and they won't ever know which ones are from you. So whether it's a good idea to use a VPN or not, or whether you should do it or not, that's up to you. That's just something you have to consider. But now at least you know what a VPN is and how it works, and that will hopefully help you make the right decision. Well, anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.